Hey guys, I'm DC and welcome to the Soap Sanctuary where all soap lovers are welcome. I'm here today with Albert Bostic and we are doing our
Top
top
three
three GH
GH
villains.
villains.
All right. All right, so I'm actually excited for this today, guys. We're going to be talking about our top three GH villains today. Now I've got my list. What about you? You got yours?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm ready to just dive right on into this list. All right, Albert, I'm going to have you start off first. I know my list is already crazy.
All right. I was actually thinking about that. I was like, you know what? Since we always usually do these collabs and you start, I'm like, let me start this time.
All right.
So my third is going to be Peter August. I gotta sit there and go with Peter August. I had to really think about that for a hot minute. I really did, but there's a theme with my list. So that's another reason why I chose him as well.
Okay, what made you put Peter August on your list?
Peter August, after a while, was everybody's problem.
Right.
He wasn't just Jason's problem. He was Anna's problem. He was Chase's problem. He was everybody's problem.
Right.
And when you really think about it, I mean, yeah, he had a really bad past when he started off with holding Jason, but there was a moment in the beginning that he seemed like he was trying to go for redemption. With the whole Maxie thing, and like he seemed like he was going on a path of redemption. Getting close with his mother at the time he thought it was his mother.
Which is so weird. I don't know why they undid that. It's like they were going there and like, nah, we changed our minds. He's gonna stay in Philly.
Well, they did that with Nell also.
You brought that up. I remember you brought that up in your last review. You brought that up where there was like they were kind of going there like, nah, we changed our minds.
Yeah. And I felt like they did that with Peter as well. Like, he wasn't, I mean, granted, towards the end, he was terrible, but like, he did have room in his heart for love, with Anna and, Maxie and everything like that. He had room for that. So, and he was bad towards the end, but I wouldn't sit there and say he didn't start out like that, but like, he had a journey where he was going one path at one point,
I was kind of shocked though when he was even on Sonny's radar, and it's like Sonny couldn't even take care of him. I was like, all right, now this is kind of pushing it for me.
But Sonny, at one point, he seemed like he was going in so many different directions with Cyrus and everything like that. So it was it was like Peter wasn't like his problem, like not directly really his problem. So
right. Okay, so this is the crazy thing is, I'm kidding you no lie. Number 3 on my list is actually Peter August as well.
I didn't know he was actually going to be on number 3 for you, though.
You probably thought it was about number 1, right?
No, maybe number 2. I was sitting there saying number 2.
He's actually my number 3. And honestly, I loved Peter August. I know half of the GH fan base hated Peter August, to the core. But I don't know. It was something about him as a villain. I was just the dramatic voice, Maxie, we have to do this and this. I don't know what it was. I was just in love with Peter August. I was like, I love this villain. Honestly, I definitely think I liked him more as a villain more than I did Cyrus at times. I know that's kind of extreme to say that. But Peter, to me, the only thing about his storyline that just seemed unrealistic, like I said before, was that he was on everybody's radar. And I feel like everybody had such a collection of resources. Anna had the WSB, Sonny has his Corinthos Coffee organization. It's like all these people and nobody could seem to get a handle on him. It was to the point where I was like, all right, guys, come on now. All these people now, not one person could stick it to him, not one person. So that was my only thing. I did like, though, when he was in Nixon Falls with Nina and she discovered him, she just called Lisa Albert on the phone and was like, take care of him. I was like, finally. I was like, finally. But I think they did in that storyline to save Nina's butt for not telling the truth about Peter August was that the threatening of James.
Yeah.
All right.
But you gotta sit there and look at it this way, though. It almost felt like they had to dumb down people to some extent.
Yeah.
To make him always one step ahead.
Yeah.
They
did. I mean, his crime was that didn't he do something to Drew's plane? I mean, I know he had Drew kidnapped, right? He did something to his plane where he hijacked it or something. What was that? Is that the crime that everybody found out about and where Maxie couldn't forgive him right before they got married?
Yes.
Okay.
I know, it was kind of a while ago, right?
Right. Yeah, so I'm trying to remember what it was because I'm just like, didn't everybody knew he was behind that? But I think what happened was they thought he was behind it in the beginning, right? And then it seemed like he wasn't, but then he really was behind it. The stuff with Drew, was that how it went?
Something with Valentine also, like he helped with the plane or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, it was a while
sitting
ago.
pretty though in front of everybody's eyes.
Huh?
But Valentine is like sitting pretty in front of everybody's eyes. No one has an issue with Valentine though. It seems like it.
Yeah, everyone had a lot of smoke with Anna.
Right.
People blame Anna so much more than Valentine.
Right. And the thing is like I liked it when he was Anna's son. I don't know why they undid that. I felt like it would have been more soapy if he remained Anna's son. But then again, it was hard to believe that she would have a child with Faison and just not remember it. Like, that just completely just left her mind.
Well, you guys have to remember they did the whole mind thing too. Like they did the whole memory swap with like him,
the memory
her
swap.
and her sister.
That's right, the memory swap. Which that's gonna come in convenient whenever GH I'm sure wants to rewrite history in the future. I know it's gonna come in very conveniently.
Well, he did that with Todd on One Life to Live.
With Victor?
Todd. No, on One Life to Live, it was Todd and his brother Victor.
Right. Todd and Victor, right? So
he had like the whole memory thing or whatever, and that's how Victor knew a lot of Todd's memories and mannerisms and everything like that.
Right.
They were twins.
So then that means Victor always knew he wasn't Todd then, from what I remember. I think it was. That storyline was so long ago, right?
No. He really thought he was Todd.
Okay, yeah.
He literally put memories, yeah.
That was a convenient way for them to bring Roger House back, which I get it. Yeah. I totally get it. All right, so let's move right on in to number 2. Go ahead and start off with your number 2 General Hospital villain.
Cyrus Renault.
I knew Cyrus was going to be on your list. I was waiting for it.
Yes. Because Cyrus was sort of the same thing. He started off Sonny's problem.
Right.
But then he became Jordan's problem. He became the hospital's problem. He became everyone's problem.
Right.
Laura's problem, especially when, you found out that Laura and Cyrus were brothers and everything like that, brother and sister.
Right.
And he did have somewhat of a traumatic beginning. Like, I think he ran over his dad by accident, and that's how he kind of became who he became. So, like, and then they just kind of mudded up that storyline with the whole Nixon Falls thing. But up until that point, he was a real problem now.
And I don't think this is the last that we've ever seen of Cyrus. The fact that Laura's brother, he is so coming back at one point in time. I can feel it.
I hope so. I really hope so.
I honestly, I think what made Cyrus a really good villain was the fact that once he took control of GH, he was like, it's like he owned the town the moment that happened. It felt like it.
Yeah, he definitely owned.
Yeah, it's like he owned the town. It's like he owned everybody at that point once he took control of GH.
Yeah, because GH was already, I guess, messing up because of something with Monica and Bobby with the whole Wiley thing, the surgery. So at that point, they were already in a bad position. So Cyrus coming in was just like, they pretty much kind of took any type of help that they can get.
Plus, Cyrus was trafficking all those drugs through GH. So that's why I kind of feel like it was actually good they put Sonny out of commission, because we were really able to see how powerless the town was without Sonny. And the whole Carly and Jason kind of forming into the mob thing at that point.
Yeah. No, you're right. And when you think about it, I think this is the reason why they give Sonny so much slack, because it's like, as bad as Sonny is, there are clearly people that are worse than Sonny.
Yeah, and he kept the town safe from the trafficking of drugs. Although I want to know, what is it exactly that does Sonny actually really important? And this is a question we still don't know to this day. That might be revealed in the series finale of GH. We still don't know.
Hopefully not, because we only got 4 soap operas. So.
Right. Okay, you're right. Let me not even speak that out there. Let me not even put that out there. I liked it though at that time with Cyrus Renault, was because I really wanted to see Carly become the head of the crime family. Not so much her and Jason, but like, I get her marrying Jason, I still would have been okay with that. But like seeing her become the head of the crime family.
Oh, that would have definitely been interesting.
You know, because she knows a lot. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, what was you gonna say?
I was gonna say because she knows a lot. Carly knows. I feel like she's like been prepared for this role almost like her whole life, the whole past 20 years or so of GH. She's been prepared for that. I would have loved to have seen that, honestly.
Me too.
You know, I would have loved to have seen her just like take over the realms and see what it's like for her to make those difficult decisions as a mob boss. And even with her and Jason, I wish they would have explored that romance a little bit more. It just got like, but I get it. The Nixon Falls storyline went on for so long, and eventually they had to cut it off at some point. But I wish they could have sped up the wedding prior to that, so we could have seen what that really would have been like for them to have a relationship. Because I got a feeling if Steve Burton didn't leave, that was going to be the storyline. Is like Sonny having to deal with the aftermath of his best friend now and his wife, and there's sordid feelings and all that stuff going on. That's what I think it would have been. And then he would have ended up going to Nina as a result or whatever. Like that would have been the tie-in with that, I think.
Like a default.
Right. That's what I think it would have been. All right, so we're on number 2 right now, right?
Number 2. So it's your turn.
So this is my number 2. My number 2 General Hospital villain is Heather Weber.
Heather Weber. Okay.
Heather Weber. Oh my gosh, Heather Weber. I had to pick her because especially when she came back on in 2012, she was causing so much havoc. She had that weird obsession with her son, Stephen Lars, the weirdest obsession in the world. I don't know if you remember that time. It was 2012. And she then injected Olivia with the LSD, and Olivia got those psychic visions as a result of it. And
I remember a little bit of that.
Yeah. And then oh my God, Heather Weber to me she's always behind some mess. She was behind the Franco rewrite twice. The first time when he was Jason's twin, the second time when now he was Heather's son, the rewrite. Okay. Heather Weber to me, I don't know. I love her as a villain. I love her when she's on. There's something about her, like, I know now that her son, Stephen Lars, is not there. I don't really get the gist of it, why Franco's not there. I do think it's weird, though, that they never really brought Heather on or even mentioned her name when Franco died, considering Franco was her son. I don't know if you ever noticed that. They never really mentioned her for whatever reason. Yeah. So, but it's Heather Weber to me. I don't know. It's something about her. She had that weird obsession with Luke. She's my number 2 villain. I gotta say, Heather Weber is my number 2 villain right there. I don't know. I just, every time she's on screen, I get excited. Her and Peter August, I just get excited when they're on screen. I'm just looking forward to the havoc they're about to cause.
I think because I don't really remember Heather Weber that much. Like there was a point I stopped watching it. So when I came back, like I only saw like a little bit of Heather Weber, but by that time it was like.
When did you stop watching?
I stopped watching, like I started watching it. You remember there was a point where they had a different Maxie?
Yeah.
For a little bit, like, yeah. And she had like brunette hair. And
yeah, I remember her, yeah. Yeah.
What? That's when I came back around.
So wait, okay, so prior to that, when did you stop watching? Like what was the part you stopped? Because that's part you came back. When is the part like you stopped watching? Was it when the Zakaras came on, stuff like that?
I think no, this was after Zakaras left.
So was it during the One Life to Live time?
Huh?
Was it during like the One Life to Live era when all the One Life to Live people came on?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that around that time, because I remember that because they had Kiki as well. It was Star, and then she came back as Kiki.
Right.
That's when I started watching it again.
So you didn't even see the water pathogen storyline then?
No. I did see the water pathogen storyline.
You did?
I think I stopped a little bit after the water pathogen storyline.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. That thing was like a little bit afterwards. So yeah, that's right. I didn't know you stopped watching GH at one point in time. What was it made you stop? We just took a break or just?
I think I just took a break. I don't even know what it was. I just took a break. I don't even remember why now that I think about it.
Because I took a break, I think it was during the Hayden Barnes time when she got shot by Nicholas. So when people were mentioning that, how like when they, they were bringing back up Hayden Barnes the past year or so, I was like kind of clueless a little bit because I wasn't watching it at that time. It was like a good year. I took off from GH at that time.
Yeah, I remember when I came back and I was watching it and they had like a different Kiki and I was like, what?
Like, yeah, what just happened?
But then it kind of worked for me because it's like I couldn't imagine. Okay, so you have Star that leave, and then she comes back, and now she's Kiki and with different hair, and I'm supposed to just pretend like that's gonna no,
Yeah.
that's not gonna.
Yeah, because I think when Kristen Alderson was on, she was originally on to star Manning, but because of the lawsuit with Prospect Park, she literally came back the next weekend as Kiki Jerome. You remember?
Yeah.
I don't remember that shit, brunette.
And for what I understand, they when Star left, because then her boyfriend died, but then it found out like
Cole was killed by like Johnny Zakara in a car wreck.
Yeah, but then it found out like that he was alive or something like that, and so she just left and broke up with Michael over the phone or something like that.
Oh yeah, that was the excuse they had. She had to run back to Landview or something, you know, which I get it. She had to run back to Landview. And then Todd came back with bright blonde hair.
Yeah, that's what was just like,
it was, I mean, I get like that's what they had to do, but it was just so off the kilter. And then Kristen Alderson left, and then now Franco's been killed off, and Silas Clay was even killed off. So it's just, yeah.
and then he brought him back again as Finn, and I was just like, you know what? At this point, I don't even. It's like you killed off Silas Clay, who was a doctor,
right?
And then you bring him back as Finn, who is also a doctor, because why not at this point?
Right. You know what would be interesting? I was thinking about this a while ago. How would it have been if Silas Clay was still alive during all of this that's playing out right now with the whole Wiley and Willow thing going on? Because Willow would be his daughter.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yes, she would be Silas Clay's daughter. So I was like, this would be interesting how that would have played out.
Well, also you got to remember that Kiki died too.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So
that was going to also be a thing too.
Man, like he just vanished off the face of the earth. Him and his nephew Rafe just vanished. I mean, how did Cyrus die? How did Silas die? Because I found out he was killed off. I'm like, I didn't know he was killed off. Like, where was I? Do you remember?
I don't remember who killed him off. People thought that it was Nina at one point
that killed him. I'm trying to figure out, because now if you think about it, Michael's been with all three daughters of Silas Clay, Kiki, Dell, and Willow.
Ooh, wow. Right? Only thing you're missing, only thing that you're missing is the mother.
Right? Right? That's the only thing that's missing, you know?
That's so bad. That is literally so bad.
I mean, maybe one day they might bring him back from the dead, but I guess we can't because we got Finn on right now. So it's, it's all right. We'll have to work with it. We're working with it, We're working with it. All right. So what's your number one? Who is your number one GH of all time?
I think you know, but I'm going to say it anyway.
I think I know who it is too. I get a feeling, but I'm not going to. Okay, go ahead and say it.
Okay, you know what? Start with a letter, and I'll tell you if I'm right.
J.
Yep.
I knew it. See, I knew it.
Yeah. Jerry Jacks.
I knew it.
Jerry Jacks. I gotta go with Jerry Jacks, because when Jerry Jacks came in, he was a problem for everyone. Like he came in the first time and he took over the Metro Court, and like he became everyone's problem. He became Nicholas' problem. He also, was responsible for Alan's death.
Quartermain's. Oh my gosh.
He got Robin.
Robin. Did he ever go to jail for Alan Quartermain's death? I don't think so. I don't think he ever served jail time for that.
No.
How did he get away with that?
He also had a thing with Alexis though for a little bit.
He did. I'm just trying to figure out, how did Jerry Jacks get away with that? Like, how did they explain that off? Because normally when they get away with the crime, there's some type of plea bargain or something they negotiate. Like, did they ever explain that off, how he got away with those charges?
I don't remember. I really don't. I just remember when he came back, he did the water pathogen thing.
Right, because you know how like on Ava on Days, when she came back from the dead, she brokered a deal with the prosecutor to get, Stephen Kayla's son, Joey, out of prison since he was in jail for her murder. And that's how she's now being able to be released, because she killed Grandpa Sean Brady in a plane hijacking incident years ago or something like that as well. And that's how she negotiated her release. So that's what I'm trying to figure out, like, did Jerry Jacks ever negotiate that? Because I was like, I don't recall that ever happening. I
could have swore, and I'm just guessing, I think that Jacks had something to do with helping him leave.
Right.
I think so. It was a while, but I think that he had something to do with helping him leave though.
I think it has something to do with it too. I mean, Jerry Jacks, when he when he came into that Metro Court, I never forget when Sam was getting ready to pick up the phone and he said, "How badly do you want to be Employee of the Month?"
And it's just that actor, like whenever he's a villain on anything, he is just terrifying. Right. This dude is literally terrifying. I remember I actually made a comment on his Instagram, and I was like, I don't know who terrifies me more, Jerry Jacks or this character named Michael Michelson. He's on the show called The Originals, but the point is, it's like he has that same fire and energy that he has in General Hospital, that he has another show. So he's just always a terrifying person.
Right. I mean, honestly, I was pretty scared of Jerry Jackson. He came in and he's like, "All right," with the guns held up. I think that was an epic moment in soap opera history, was at Metro Court. Like, you can't talk about dramatic moments in GH and not mention that Metro Court, the hostage takeover. Like, that was everything.
Oh, it was great. I mean, that was the first time you really had Jason and Spinelli like teaming up. That was their first team up.
Right. That's when they first met. And if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this, but I think at that time, I don't know if it was Soap Opera Digest, where I could be wrong, or I think I heard them say that was the first time there was ever a hostage takeover on a soap opera. At that time, yeah, I could be wrong, but I remember them saying something like that. And even when I try to think back, I can't really think a lot of other soaps prior to that moment having a hostage takeover storyline where everyone's being held hostage. I could be wrong though, so nobody quote me on this. Because people in the comments are gonna correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, I mean, people are gonna correct you in any comments that you make a video on, so that should be par for the course at this point.
I know, right? I think I just got used to
it. By now, you damn sure should be used to it.
I'm so used to it at this point. But Jerry Jacks, I think he was honestly like a brilliant villain that GH made. Like, honestly, they created, like, because it's weird. He was actually a recast. He was a recast Jerry Jacks.
I heard about that.
Yeah, he was a recast. And I looked at the original Jerry Jacks and the actor who played him, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know if he could have done it like the way Sebastian Roche did. Like, I don't think he could have done it that same way. Like, to me, Jerry Jacks came back in 2012 with the water pathogen storyline. Were you there for that? Because that happened time might have slipped out. Okay.
Yeah, I was definitely there for that.
And that was like in another umbrella storyline where it was like half the town was and the water supply was being poisoned, and Olivia was having those weird visions about the water. Oh, that was good. That was just soapy goodness. And I think Todd Manning and Sonny Corinthos were working together to get the money to wire to Jerry Jacks.
Yes. Along with the Quartermains, and I'm pretty sure Johnny Sakara also chipped in.
That was so good. That was so good.
That's when you had Michael McBain. You had Dante coming in there. Like, it was just great.
It was a good time to be alive on GH. It was just a good time to be alive.
It was a good time to be a fan. And that's also when you had the first Lulu, really, that a lot of people liked.
Right. Oh yeah, she was still around at that time. All right, so let me come in now with my number one GH villain of all time. But it's Anthony Zaccara for me, honestly.
I remember Anthony Zaccara.
I gave
it to Anthony nuts towards the end.
You know, towards the end of his run on GH, it became less villainy. I was less scared of him, but in the beginning, when he first came on, he was that force. I remember when he was just sitting there in the dark and Sonny came into his house and he was like, "Do you guard him, Mr. Corinthos?" It was like a shadow over him. He was like, "Do you guard him, Mr. Corinthos?" You know, and he was just like, he had this kooky craziness to him, like this crazy old man, this just batshit crazy old man thing going on with Anthony Zaccara. And at that time, I was excited. Anytime somebody came to town, take down Sonny, I got excited. So he was part of that equation at the time. But Anthony Zaccara, to me, he was just like, and it was so weird because he had this strangeness to him from the way he was. Like, I mean, the way he was jealous of Johnny because of the love that his wife gave John. It was so eerie and so weird and so creepy the way he was. Like, I genuinely believed it. I genuinely believe he was a batshit crazy old man who just so happened to be a mob boss. And I think it was Johnny. Didn't Johnny kill him in the end? I think it was.
Maybe, I think so.
Johnny killed him in the end. Claudia obviously was murdered by Michael, and then Johnny went to jail for killing Star and Cole's baby, Hope, which still trying to figure that out how now, since now they're like rewritten out of GH history. But Anthony Zaccara was it for me. That was my number one villain. Anthony Zaccara. I mean, there's plenty of mob bosses that came to town. There was Karpov at one point in time. The guy who pushed Sonny into the water. He's like this Russian importer. Do you remember that? It was like back in 2011, 2012.
No, I think I might have stopped watching around that time.
And Sonny was drowning in the water for a little bit. You know, it was a good little montage. I was honestly thinking, oh my God, they're actually going to kill off Sonny, but they didn't. But yeah. There was Karpov after that. There was, you definitely can't forget Faith Roscoe. You definitely can't forget her.
Oh, no, of course not.
Definitely can't forget Faith Roscoe. She was another one. Where she killed her grandmother. You remember do you remember Faith Roscoe when she killed her grandmother just to get her out of the way?
I don't remember her killing her grandma. I just remember her just being a powerful force. Like, you know, just having a woman come in town and be like, yo, listen, I'm gonna sit there and, be in the boys club. Like, I don't care.
What happened to her, by the way? Since you were really watching, because I've only seen little things, clips of her here and there. What happened to Faith Roscoe, by the way?
To be honest, I think I had to ask somebody that, and I think, was it Sonny that might have actually ordered a hit on her? Or Jason? I remember she got killed off some sort of way. I remember me sitting there asking that question too, because I was like, I'm drawing a blank. Like, what happened to her? I know she got killed off, but how?
Right. Now let me ask you.
This may also been a time I might actually stop watching it for a little bit. So
let me ask you this: is there any villain you would give an honorable mention to?
I wanted to do Alcazar. Ooh. I wanted to do Alcazar because I really loved the actor that played Alcazar, but it was so long ago. And I remember he had his son
Diego.
Yes. Then he came back and he was like killing people and everything.
Yeah, he was a text message killer. That was a big twist. I was not expecting that when that happened.
I think I like Alcazar just because he was not afraid of Sonny.
Yeah, he
like when Alcazar came to town, he just he didn't care.
He really wasn't. Wasn't there Manny Ruiz too at that time? Remember Manny Ruiz?
Oh,
his twin brother became a priest.
Yeah, but Manny scared me. The actor scares me. The actor scares the living hell out of me. I would give him my lunch money at that point.
I remember that storyline where Manny, because it seemed like they were starting a theme where like Sonny's enemies would come back with a twin. First it was Luis Alcazar came back with his twin brother Lorenzo. Then Manny Ruiz died, and his brother, his twin brother was a priest, Father Ruiz, or something like that. Oh my God, that was, oh man, it's like they were bringing enemy after enemy on for Sonny, like at that time, and then they just stopped with the Jeromes. It seemed like it.
Yeah, I do remember when Manny came in and Jason had to run up saving Liz. And Lucky got like really angry or whatever. And he started taking pills, and that was a whole thing with Maxie. Remember that, right?
I remember that. Maxie was sitting there giving Lucky those pills back in the day. I remember that. Back when she was a bad girl. Anyways, guys, that is our top 3 General Hospital villains. Tell us what you guys think in the comments. Who did you think should have made the list?
Yes.
What do you think should make? Because we probably could have forgotten some villains that came into Port Charles throughout the years, guys. Well, definitely let us know in the comments below, guys. And we'll see you guys in the next video.
Thank you for watching.